A good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 3:09 p.m. on Friday, the 17th of July 2026, and I've been waiting since 7:30 this morning for my name change certificate to arrive, and it's still not here. It's a bit bizarre, isn't it? It's a bit bloody bizarre. And I've had to stay home because it had to be signed for because registered post. So I've lost a whole day where I wanted to go down and swap over my oxygen tank for my Smith Little torch, and I wanted to go and buy grain for the birds, but I guess that can happen tomorrow. So I'm not terribly upset, but it's just, why bother messaging you saying something's on the way and then it takes an entire day? I don't think it's going to come today at this stage of the afternoon. I mean, they all knock off at 5 o'clock, don't they? So annoying, very annoying, but not really any much you can do about it. Just annoying. So in the interim, I did all these little tiny little odd jobs just to fill time while I've been eagerly awaiting the arrival of my certificate, which my name change doesn't become legal until I have that in my hot little hand, which is also annoying. But so I glued together my elder daughter's tiny baby tooth. I think it will hold. And there's my gnarly, ugly old one. And my intention is to try and cast them in Delft clay and have a sterling silver replica of each. I think I might make, if I can do it at all, I think I might make 2 or 3 of Crystal's little baby one, because I reckon they'd make a very sweet pair of earrings in sterling silver. And then there's one I want to solder onto King Oberon's crown, so it's got the added mojo of having Crystal's little tooth on it. Because look, I've held on to it for 40 years. I might as well do something with it, people of Earth. Anyway, so there was that. That was the last thing I did. I did that about 2 o'clock. And the other little silly thing I did was glued this plastic cameo thingy on my box that I'm going to decorate up. And behind me, you can't see it, it's on my Instagram, but I hung up a hook to hold up the curtain wire, like, I don't know what you call it. It's not a rod, but it's a plastic wire covered in plastic that was drooping too much because I hung all my brooches off on that curtain. Let me just try and show you. Anyway, the curtain in the background there. So I drilled little holes and screwed that in. That was another little job. And then the other little job I've done is, and it's getting mad. It's getting quite mad, people of Earth. I'm starting to worry about my mental health. But I'm so pedantic about everything. I don't know if you can see it. Where are we? Get closer. So I've also, yes, you can sort of see it. I also glued another little magnet so I could hang up the little metal funnel. So I've got a collection of things hanging from the edge of the drawer rather than being actually inside the drawer, because I figure it'll make it easy for me to just find things and grab them when I need to utilise those objects. So, and it really is kind of an inner child kind of nonsensical thing. I don't know what's happened to me. Maybe it's, I dread to think impending dementia or something. But I'm like so, what's the word, perfectionist about everything now. I've got everything in its place. I even pulled out these little O-rings because I only have 3. I'm not sure if I've got more in my laundry where I keep my, hardware. But I pulled that out because when I swap over my oxygen bottle, C oxygen cylinder. I want to get some more O-rings. So I've even got all that all ready to go. So when I go to Total Tools, which I'm annoyed because I wanted to go there this morning, if I'd known Australia Post wasn't going to bring it today, I'm just playing stupid games on the app, I would have been there this morning, had it all tickety-boo up and running. So lost a day on really, what can you do about it? Our whole government has gone to the shitter. Nobody wants to do any work except for me, the unemployable one with my busted up nervous system, sitting here tinkering with tiny little things as if I had something important and of value to contribute. Oh, the poor mama too. Poor mama too, nothing. So on the subject of contributing and doing something with my time, rather than being upset about a day wasted waiting for things that probably weren't going to come today. Did say it's on its way. Usually they're pretty good when they say something's on its way. It usually arrives within a couple of hours. But anywho, I don't know what happened to that letter. I really don't. But instead of being upset and distressed and working myself into a tizzy about something I can't actually do anything about, I thought I will continue reading chapter 2, wasn't it? Cracking Up, and this is going to be part 3 of chapter 2. How much more of chapter 2 do we have to read, by all the gods? Goes on a long time. Yes, it's quite a long video, this one. So there may be yet another part to this video. So, people of Earth, let us begin with the beginning and end with the ending as is appropriate. Right, still some little bits and pieces I need to put away. I've just noticed I'm not really on top of things at the moment because I got distracted by all those little odd jobs. It doesn't matter, all those little odd jobs are going to make everything very comfortable and streamlined when I'm ready to focus on whatever it is I need to be focusing on, people of Earth. Right, and I'm also very tired, very, very tired, because it's been a stressful month since beginning of this month, late last month. It's been very, very stressful. So on we go and on we go. The Bedside Milligan, 1968. The Singing Foot, the Sun Helmet. The Bedside Milligan contained drawings, stories, poems and letters written while he was writing The Goon Show and after. The Singing Foot, a tale of a singing foot, Woy Woy, Australia, September 1967. I have an uncle. His name is Herbert Jam. He was 52. He worked in a laundry. One Christmas Eve he was homeward bound on a crowded bus when he heard what he thought was the sound of music coming from inside his boot. Indeed, what was to make him famous had happened. His right foot had commenced to sing. Poor Mr. Jam tried to control the volume of sound by tightening his bootlace. It only succeeded in making the voice go from a deep baritone to a strangled tenor. Something like that. Dear goddess. All right, I won't quit my day job. I'll go back to gluing together teeth and dreaming of higher manifestations and potentiates and of my beautiful life. Tutto bellissimo. Vida. What's life in Italian? Vida is Spanish, isn't it? It'll be close. It'll be close. Vie it is in French. Vie. La bonne vie. La belle époque. But that's a whole era. Epoch. Well, you know what I mean. I'll get there in the end, won't I? Don't answer that question. We just plug along every day in every way. Right, got to bloody dye my hair again because all the blonde's starting to shine through, and I'm trying to go grey, not blonde. Oh well, Tuesday I'm due for a dye, really a grey rinse. Well, anywho, looking really good right now, actually, considering, but shh, in denial. Here comes what looks like a postal van. I won't get too excited. I'll let them come right to the door. They've made me wait all feckin' day. Right. At the next stop, they probably won't, you know, because Australia. At the next stop, Mr. Jam had to get off. He walked home to the sound of his right foot singing, "God rest you, merry gentlemen." Strange thing for a right foot to sing. Anyway, fortunately, Mr. Jam knew the words and mimed them whenever people passed by. Isn't that a Christmas song? Must have been Christmas. That always sends people a bit loopy, doesn't it? Christmas. Don't mention Christmas. It's only a few months away, isn't it? 5 months. Don't mention that. Some people really look forward to Christmas, but I have an abhorrence for it. I won't go into details why. It was all very, very embarrassing. For 3 days, he stayed off work. His favourite TV programs were ruined by unexpected bursts of song from the foot. He did manage to deaden it by watching with his foot in a bucket of sand. But, alas, from this practice, he contracted a rare foot rot, normally only caught by Arabs and camels. Worst was yet to come. The foot started singing at night. At 3 in the morning he was awakened with selections from the Gondoliers. Drake is going west, and a whiter shade of pale. I really love that song. It's one of my favourite songs, up there with Goo Goo Dolls' Iris. Nothing else matters. Hundreds of other songs. I can't even think of them all right now. But that's one of my favourites. One of my top 10 favourites. He tried Mrs. Helen Ferg, a lady who was known to have exorcised poltergeists and evil spirits. Can't have been the postal van, because they'd be knocking on the door by now, wouldn't they? Oh, poor Mama T. It's like waiting for Godot, who never fucking comes, by the way. It better come. It better bloody come. Otherwise, Monday, I'll be down that office, sitting there like a very irritated stool pigeon toad. Anywho, we'll have to go by what the app says. The app says it's on the way. Oh. Right, a lady who was known to have exorcised poltergeists and evil spirits. She tied a sprig of witch hazel round his ankle intoned Druidic prayers, and burnt all his socks in the bath. Reminds me of the time I had my kitchen cushered by my wonderful Rabbi Moshe Cohen. And he had all my glassware and crystal in the bath. And my Jewish husband, who was born Jewish, I might add, unlike myself, who came late to the party of consciousness when I was only 19. But anyway, he kept complaining, why is everything in the bath? I said, it's being koshered. Why does it have to be koshered in the bath? I said, I don't know. The rabbi says it gets koshered in the bath, so it gets koshered in the bath. I'm not the rabbi. I'm not the expert on kashrut. Who am I to argue with the expert on kashrut? Then they fought over a frying pan that Michael didn't want to throw out. And the rabbi insisted because, non-kosher meat had been cooked in it. I said, Michael, it has to go. I'll buy you a new bloody pan. How hard can it be? He carried on like a pork chop, pun intended, all feckin' day. In the end, the rabbi was coming to me. Mrs. Aarons, I went, just ignore him. I wear the pants in this house. Unfortunately, he's not a very bright rabbi. You just have to tell him how it's going to be, and he'll have to handle it. And he did, between me and the rabbi working on him. It was hard work dealing with that nincompoop. By the goddess. It's how it was one of those peak emotional events when you realise you actually are married to a nincompoop. Almost came to fisticuffs with my wonderful Rabbi Cohen, who was a gentleman and a very kind and sweet man. He just looked at me in shock. I know, it's odd. I bet you don't come to many Jewish households like this, where there's such an odd, weird dynamic. I said, however, this house will be kosher. And it was for 12 months, until there was so much viciousness coming from members of the Margaret Street congregation casting aspersions on my kosher kitchen and the kosher cheese I was helping Rabbi Cohen sell to the community, casting aspersions on me and him. I thought, fuck that shit, I'm not going to finish this conversion. Savage they were. Savage. That and the Beit Din had people flying down to them in Sydney, because of money. And they knew I had no money, even back then in those days when I was married with a freehold house, I might add. They knew I had no money, so they said, you'll have to wait till we come up to Brisbane and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, okay, I'll wait. It might be another year. The other option is you have to fly to Sydney. I said, don't have the money. Well, you'll have to find the money, won't you? Do you want to be Jewish or not? And even my teacher, Mrs. Frances Bernstein, of blessed memory, got so upset. She said, this is outrageous. They've just done a conversion of people that were in the same class as you. She said, because they had money and you don't. She said, it's really discriminatory. I said, but Frances, they're running the show, not us. She said, no, I'm disgusted too. And you know what she did? She said, I will pay for you to fly down to Sydney, and you will go there and you will be an Orthodox Jew when you come back, and I will pay for it. And I thought about it. I thought hard about it because I didn't want it. I'd been doing it for an entire year. I'm not taking money off an elderly woman in her 80s who's had not long, few months before, been widowed, and so I knew every penny counted, and she wasn't wealthy by any stretch of the imagination herself. I'm not going to do that, take her money so I can please some greedy, corrupt rabbis in the Beit Din in Sydney who were othering me. They were othering me. It was really awful, really awful. And the viciousness they did to Rabbi Cohen was beyond belief as well. And with all of that in play, all of that going on, I thought, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I did remain a Reformed Jew for quite many, well, I mean, I'm still a Reformed Jew, you know, but I did remain an observant Reformed Jew and continued to go to shul, to temple for quite some years, about another 30 years. And then gradually there was just so much othering and nastiness directed towards me over the years. I thought, I don't want anything to do with organised religion anymore. I literally dropped my bundle, people of Earth. Dropped my bundle. And then gradually I brought back in my shamanic side of my spirituality and my witchy side. And you know what? I feel better for it. But if anyone starts any shit about the Jews, I kindly remind them, do not forget, I am still a Jew. And you watch them wither and like worms on a fucking very hot frying pan, always recoil in horror. Fucking anti-Semites. Some of the worst anti-Semites I ever experienced were from within my own Jewish community here in Brisbane. Oh, look. How can I show you quickly? The king parrot's here. Can you see him? Hello, my king. Yes, we live in the fairyland now. Hello, my beautiful boy. That's about the third day in a row you've been around. I'm happy to see you. Where's your wife? She's green. Can't see her. She doesn't always show up. I mean, she's there somewhere. Hello, little boy. Hello, pretty boy. Off he goes. He never stays very long. He's always in some sort of rush. But you notice he sits up on the frangipani tree and he has a little twitter to me, talks to me, and then off he goes. 5-minute wonder like most of my men. Oh, I'm being mean now. I did have some friends that used to enjoy communicating with me for longer than 5 minutes. Used to talk to me for hours. One friend in particular, who shall remain nameless, one time back in the early 90s, 1992, we were on the phone, I shit you not, for 8 hours. How do I know that we were on the phone for that length of time? I had a Panasonic flip top, kind of the beginnings of mobile phones, and we ran through one battery which lasted 4 hours, and then we ran through the second battery, 8 hours. I said, can you believe it, that we find so much to talk about with each other that we can literally chitter-chatter for an entire day? He was like, yes, we're both insane. I guess we were both insane. But we were very connected. We were very close friends, like almost like brother and sister, really. I used to refer to him as my brother. Well, anyway, he's gone now. He's not dead, but he abandoned me, so I don't wish him dead, don't get me wrong. But he's well and truly gone. It's been 7 months. It's like last time there was an estrangement between us that lasted 3 years. And I actually asked him to come back to be my friend. And after that, we were friends for 25 more years. Well, now I'm done begging people. You don't want to be in my life or in my energy, that's fine. Go on your merry way. Blessed be. Live your best life. and I don't beg anyone. I'm done doing that. But there were times when, back in the day, it was very, very fraught and dangerous circumstances I was living under, and I really did need at least one solid friend. Anyway, in these darkest and weirdest of times, my closest friends have all gone. Sayonara, sweetheart. Left me to struggle alone. Oh, and you know what? I'm kind of doing okay. I'm fighting like Baudelaire, waiting for my certificate right now. Still not here. Well, everything will have to arrive sooner or later, especially if they said it's on the way, because I'll have evidence that they said it was on the way, including an actual, because it was registered serial number. By the gods. Anyway, she intoned Druidic prayers, burnt all her socks in the bath, which is where I segued about Rabbi Moshe Cohen, which was a fine, fine man and a Kabbalist. But it wasn't long before the strains of the Desert Song came lilting up his trouser leg again. On the recommendation of his doctor, he visited the great Harley Street right foot specialist, Sir Ralph Fees. It's a bit synchronous, this Spike Milligan book at the moment, given my current struggles. I wonder which mischievous angel prompted me to read this book at this particular time period in my life, knowing that it would be a little bit of a dig. But anyway, you kind of have to laugh. "Come in, sit down," said the great man. "Now what appears to be our trouble?" "It's my right foot." "Of course it is," said cheery Sir Ralph. "And," he went on, "what appears to be the trouble with our right foot?" "It sings." Sir Ralph paused, but still went on charging. "You say your foot sings?" "Yes, it's a light baritone," said wretched Jam. Sir Ralph started to write. "I want you to go and see the psychiatrist," he said, at which very moment Uncle Herbert's foot burst into song. "Just a minute," said Sir Ralph. "I'll get my hat and come with you." The medical world and Harley Street were baffled. For the time being, he had to make do with a surgical soundproof boot and a pair of wax earplugs. Occasionally he would take off his boot to give the lads at the pub a song, but Mr. Jam was far from happy. Then came the beginning of the end. EMI gave him a $500 million contract for his foot to make records. A special group was formed called The Grave. The billing was Mr. Jam with one foot in the grave. He was the new sensation of the year. But it became clear that it was the right foot that got the fame, not Mr. Jam. EMI opened a bank account for the right foot. While his poor left foot wore an old boot, his right foot wore expensive purple alligator shoes from Carnaby Street, which cost £50 a toe. Who doesn't like wonderful alligator shoes when you can get them, especially purple? At parties, he was ceaselessly taking off his shoe to sign autographs. Mr. Jam was just an embarrassment to his right foot. One night, in a fit of jealousy, Mr. Jam shot his foot through the instep. It never sang again. Mr. Jam returned to the obscurity of his job in the laundry. He was 52, happy. Only now he walked with a slight limp. Sun helmet. A pleasant 3 degrees below zero wind was blowing. It's not pleasant at all, it's icy cold. Wow. The early morning Londoners shivered through the bitingly cold rush hour. Among them was a bowler-hatted Mr. Oliver Thrigg. The first snow of summer was starting to fall as he joined his AA members-only bus queue. Glancing to a bus queue opposite, interestingly spelt only Q-U-E instead of Q-U-E-U-E, it was a different queue to his Q, C-U-E, as the spelling proves. And what he saw shook him to his foundation garment. There in the queue opposite was a man wearing a sun helmet. Eccentricity, yes, but this fellow didn't have a stamp of a genuine eccentric. No, fellow looked far too normal. A curiosity got the upper hand. Crossing the road, he killed a cat. Once across, he joined the queue and left his on the other side. The man in the sun-helmeted hat caught a 31A bus. Mr. Thrigg signalled a passing 49A. "Follow that bus," he told the driver. "Anywhere but Cuba," said the driver. At Victoria's station, the sun-helmeted man booked to Southampton, as did Mr. Thrigg. I've been to Southampton. It's where I boarded ship back to New Zealand on the Elynice, coming back from Germany when I was 8. It's a very long time ago now, isn't it? 53 years ago. I don't really remember Southampton, but I remember the Elynice. Right, anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. As did Mr. Thrigg, who kept him under surveillance until they reached Southampton, where by now the snow was 3 foot deep, which explained the absence of dwarfs in the street. The man continued to wear his sun helmet. Why, said Thrigg, whose curiosity had killed another 9 cats, making a grand total of 1. I must follow this man, etc. Oh yes, I get it. 9 lives. A cat has 9 lives. So it was really only 1 cat. I had to think about that. I'm not very bright. I thought I was a bizarre genius. Turns out I'm thick as 2 short planks. Shh. Don't tell anyone. No one must know. Right. Thick enough to believe a Australia Post app and BDM. They should just insert a little S in there somewhere, because it is really a form of torture. Okay, maybe I am a genius after all. Right. 10 points for little witticisms, -5 for laughing at my own joke. I get that from my father, you understand. God help us. Right. I must follow this man, etc. The man booked aboard the Onion Castle and was handed £10 and an oar. Assisted passage, they call it. The ship headed south, and so did Mr. Thrigg and his enigma, which he used for colonic irrigation. Pop goes the weasel. I don't think they use little tiny funnels like that. Would depend on how full of shit you were. That's a low blow, isn't it? During the whole trip, the man appeared at all times in a sun helmet. Several or 8 times, he was almost tempted to ask the man his secret. But no, as Thrigg was travelling steerage and the man first class, plus the fact it was a special non-fraternising apartheid cruise, no contact was possible. On the 12th of October, which is probably when my name change certificate will arrive, the ship docked at Cape Town. I love Cape Town. I've been there twice, going to Germany and coming back from Germany. That's my scrub turkey, making scrub turkey noises. I'll have to buy you food tomorrow, Boychuk. We were held up by the non-event of the Australian postage. Bastardry. But anyway, on the 12th of October, the ship docked at Cape Town. Even though Thrigg got through customs and bribes at speed, I like that, customs and bribes at speed, he just missed the sun helmet as he drove off in a taxi. Thrigg flagged down an old cripple Negro driver. "Follow that sun helmet," he said, jumping on the nigger's back. The change from Negro to nigger denotes change from UK to SA, South Africa, soil. Well, Mama T does not approve. Many things. You could accuse me of many, many things. I do not like racism. Sometimes I've said racist things when I've been in a real fucking rage, but I don't mean them. I'm not actually a racist. When it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, what the fuck was that? Where did that come from? It's utterly demonic. But, you know, wow, things you have to apologise for. But I'm not actually a racist. I'm really not. Don't like racists. I don't like people who other people just because they're a bit different or quirky or female, Jewish or witchy or whatever, wherever you come from. I met a lovely Muslim lady in Aldi yesterday. We were looking at kitchen little things, stupid little things they were actually, like things made of silicone with a dish brush in it to hang off your faucet. It's like, who needs this shit? So isn't it funny how they find us all these cute little things that no one actually really needs? And then she kind of said, I'm buying them. And I went, oh no, you do what you want with your money, darling. I said, I'm not judging. I just kind of find it funny how they have all these tempting little things in Aldi and how we get almost childlike glee and delight in it and actually buy it. And sometimes I get it home and I go, what the hell was that? But anyway, she was a lovely, lovely woman. Really liked her. Later on, I was walking around And she was just smiling at me from the opposite end of the store, and I didn't wave, but I smiled back. And another man, just as I was getting my groceries, had just not long walked in, starting to go through. He was a very large, very obese man, but jolly. He was standing behind me, singing to himself, and I was smiling because I thought, oh, that's kind of nuts but sweet that he was so unself-conscious that he was singing in the supermarket. And then he struck up a conversation with me about, of all things, cabbage, and that the cabbage was a day off being out of date. And I said, yes, that's a bit rude of Aldi to sell, close to end of point of sale cabbage. And he said, I wanted to make sauerkraut. I said, oh, are you German? He said, no, I'm a Finn. He said, but actually, he said, my grandfather was Ukrainian and he survived the war with the Germans. He said, because he knew how to fix their tanks. He said, because of him, I am here. And I couldn't help laughing to myself how bizarre it is, how bizarre life really is. And I said to him, well, here's looking at you, kid. But then he got embarrassed and kind of ran away. I think he realised he was kind of flirting, but I wasn't like taking it on too seriously. I was just being nice because I was happy to finally be able to buy the food I needed. So there is that. But yes, and then I made friends with that lovely Muslim lady over the kitchen accessories. And then there was another quite elderly man kept following me around, looking at me like this. And I was like, okay, this is a very strange day today. I'll have to maintain my composure, which I did indeed do. But anyway, today has been a strange day because I've been waiting, all excited like a child for my new name certificate. And it's still not here. Oh, well, I guess it'll turn up on Monday. Calm my farm. Anyway, the name was changed from Negro to nigger, denoting change from UK to SA soil. Several times, Thrigg let the niggers stand in his bucket of portable UK soil so he could be called Negro. To cut the story short, Mr. Thrigg used scissors and cornered the man in the middle of the Sahara. The heat was intolerable as Thrigg walked up and said, "Why are you wearing that sun helmet?" "Because," said the man, pointing at a 113-degree thermometer in the shade, "the sun, man. This protects the head." "I see," said Mr. Thrigg. "Well, I better be off. I'm late for work." As he departed for the caravan queue, the man in the sun helmet spotted him. Good God, a man wearing a bowler hat! A bowler hat! Here, in the Sahara. I must find out why, he thought, as he joined the caravan queue behind Mr. Thrigg. Let's see how long this one goes for. Okay. The Bed Sitting Room, 1969, Act 1, Extract. The Bed Sitting Room, written by John Antrobus, received its premiere at the Mermaid Theatre in London. A movie version directed by Richard Lester and starring Ralph Richardson, Rita Tushingham, Michael Hordern, and Arthur Lowe, alongside Milligan, was released in 1969. Cast: Cack, Graham Stark, Lord Fortnum, Valentine Dial, Mate, Spike Milligan, Other parts played by Bob Todd, John Bluthell, Johnny, Vivian, it's obviously Welsh. I'll go with Vivian. I could be wrong. Admit when I'm likely to be wrong. People of Earth. Doesn't happen very often. Usually when it comes to pronouncing Welsh Gaelic or any kind of Gaelic. Perhaps I should study Gaelic as a language so I don't keep getting things wrong. Oh, smallest violin. Diddly, 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 dee, 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 dee. Right, on we go. Kak walks, K-A-K, walks to head of the couch. Goes to sit on an empty space. At the last moment, a Dickensian clerk, holding a chair under himself, slides underneath Kak, so that Kak is seated on his lap. This is all done in one smooth movement. A Kak. And now then, start at the beginning. Tell me all. Fortnum. My paternal ancestor, Lord Crapolyges Feldminge. Kak, quietly without stopping Fortnum speaking. Did he? Fortnum. What? Came over with William the Conqueror, first class, of course. It was Hastings, 1066. Kak writes down on pad. Hastings, 1066. Right, I'll phone him later. Fortnum. Yes, he'll bear me out. Well, he was a tall man with garnished ginger knees and several ways about him. On Sundays, they say, he took a spotted woman to church. Now, in the late autumn of 1066, during an attack of Coptic gadfly on the Naki, Kak, yes, needn't go back that far. How do you spell Nak-E? Fortnum, I don't. Could you, Kak? Oh, I'm sorry. He re-agitates the feather. Now tell me something more recent. Fortnum. Well, if you must know, everything was going swimmingly until they dropped this terrible sound of mule raspberries, groans. Everybody on stage leaps up and starts swiping at invisible flying things. The pianist, who up to now has been reading a paper behind drawn curtains, pulls back the curtains and launches into a furious version of When the Lights Go On Again. At the same time, a small man in a leopard skin, army boots, great ginger wig, and it must be enormous, and great red beard, enters with a great club with which he batters the stage in a frenzy. The noise stops. The little man exits in tears. Pianist pulls the curtains on his platform. All reverts to normal. Kak. The H-bomb? Fortnum. Yes, that's the one. Ever since then, I've been strangely troubled. Kak. Did the noise keep you awake? Fortnum. No, I slept like a log. I do tree impressions as well. When I came to, I discovered a marked change. As was my wont, I toddled along for lunch at the Constitutional Club, and it had gone. Rubble. Nothing but rubble, and such small portions. I saw Lord Hailsham, standing outside, stark naked, waving a Union Jack and shouting, "Vive le sport!" I could see his membership had lapsed, so I ignored him. I wrote a stiff letter to the Times. Then they broke the news to me. While I'd been asleep, they'd had World War III. Walks forward, looks up. I didn't get a chance to join the regiment. Cack. There. That part of it came as quite a shock to me too. Fortunately, I managed to get there in time for a disability pension. Fortnum. Well, since the bomb, I haven't eaten a thing. Cack. Why not? Fortnum. Annoyed. Can't afford it. Bread at 64 GNS. Have no idea what GNS is. Maybe guineas? Per fine ounce. See this? Shows signet ring. I had this bit of bread mounted this morning. Cack. Gad. Beautifully cut. Fortnum removes ring and holds it out to Cack. Fortnum. Look, doctor, all this if you give me a prescription to alleviate malnutrition. Cack. Right. Writes on pad. Tea grams, brown Windsor soup, eggs and chips. Jam and custard. There. I want you to take this 3 times a day before meals. Any good restaurant will make it up. Fortnum. I'll try Boots Cafe. Cack. Good. Anything else? Fortnum. Yes. Ever since they dropped this bomb, I've had the morbid fear I might turn into a bed-sitting room. Here the actors must introduce great tension. Cack. A bed-sitting room? Fortnum. Yes. Cack. Will you be empty? How would you visualize yourself as this bed-sitting room? Fortnum. A brick wall with brick wallpaper over it. A plastic draining board, fluorescent lighting, red bakelite doorknobs, and an outside wooden kazi. Oh dear, what should I do? Cack. Well, I think you ought to stick out for 30 shillings a week. At a push you might get £2. Fortnum. 2 quids? Look, you're not getting the point. I don't want to be a bed-sitting room. You can't have a law turning into that sort of thing. Woburn Abbey, Blenheim Palace, where the takings are reasonable, but a bed-sit at 2 quids? Cack. You sound quite adamant about that. Fortnum. I am adamant. I am. Cack. You sound quite adamant about that amount. Fortnum. I am. Stresses. Cack. Look, let's be practical. Have you seen a good estate agent? Fortnum. Yes, full of meaning. He was quite beautiful. Cack, worried. What? Fortnum. But he refused to handle me until I'd become this blasted bedsit. £2. The fool didn't realise I'll do anything to stave off the prospect of becoming a bedsit. I'll pay anything, even, he produces a gold coin, even money. Cack falls on his knees. Money! Blackout, divine spotlight from directly overhead on Cack. Sound of hallelujah. Chorus by Handel, a vocal chorus. Fortnum gives him the coin. Cack bends his head in relief. Lights up, music stops. Cack to his feet. Cack. Well, Lord Fortnum, I think we can do business. Roll up your sleeve. Fortnum rolls up sleeve. Fortnum. Gad and Cack. Say Fortnum. Cack. Good, you can get dressed again. Fortnum turns modestly away to pull down sleeve. Cack. Now I want you to start taking these anti-bedsit pills. Take 6 a day, 1 every half mile. Fortnum. But I only live a mile away. Cack. You'll have to move further out then. Fortnum. But I... Meanwhile, still waiting for my name change certificate. Right, I think one more little story and then I'll split it there because there's still quite a bit to go. And I'm tired and pissed off and frustrated and hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Right, the Two Ronnies, 1974. The Random Raspberry Blower of Old London Town. Number 1, broadcast 4th of September 1976. What became one of the most popular strands in the Two Ronnies' 5th series began as a 30-minute single drama written by Milligan for LWT's 6 Dates with Barker in 1971. When the idea was developed into a regular slot, Milligan wrote the first episode only, which appears here. Cast: Ronnie Corbett, Ronnie Barker, Barbara Dixon, with Stephen Calcutt, Joe Kendall, Vicky Michelle. Was that a knock at my door? No. If it was barely audible. I better go check just in case. You never know. Might be lucky. Might be lucky in the state of Queensland. Where every freaking Queenslander takes the piss. No. I've left the front door open so I can hear a bit better in case they do come along. Because sometimes I get little early representations of people arriving 5 minutes before they actually arrive. It'd be funny if that happened while I'm videoing on YouTube. And like kind of a precognitive thing. But I think what I actually heard was my neighbour came home, probably heard his car door closing. That's probably what it was. Let's be realistic about it. Anyway, where were we? With Stephen Calcutt, Joe Kendall, Vicky Michelle, Claire Nielsen, John Owens, Johnny Wade, produced by Terry Hughes. Just need to sneeze in a minute. Not quite yet, but soon. Right. Episode 1. After title sequence, a studio caption, an old map of London. Dramatic voiceover. London, 1898. The story starts on the night of Tuesday, October 3rd. Crossfade to calendar saying Friday, April the 10th. Do they mean extension? I don't know what they mean there. Downing Street, night. Swirling mist, in close-up, a match is struck. It lights up the nameplate, Downing Street. We see the Phantom in top hat and opera cloak, only from the back. He walks, we follow him. His feet as they pace towards number 10. Another match is struck, this time lighting up number 10. His black-gloved hand raises the knocker and, shooting over his shoulder, we see the door open. It is the butler. Good evening, sir. May I assist you? Phantom. Yes. Is the Prime Minister in? Butler. He is, sir, but he doesn't see anybody without an appointment, except Miss Maureen Body. Phantom. In that case, please give her my card. Hands his card. Butler, mystified. But why is there no address on it, sir? Phantom. I'm never at home. Butler. Is there any message I may give to the Prime Minister, sir? Phantom. Yes. Tell him this. The butler's face distorts with fear and disgust as the footsteps of the Phantom are heard running away. The butler clutches his heart, staggers in the doorway. Butler. Help! I've never been so... Oh! He collapses. Police whistles, running feet, drum roll and a close-up of the visiting card. A small raspberry is printed neatly in the middle. The music crashes in with the Phantom theme. Ext London Street, day. News vendor, played by a girl with a moustache, is selling papers. News vendor. Read all about it. Strange fiendish attack on Prime Minister's butler. Police at bedside. Caw, Struth, strike a light. God bless you, Gov. Read all about it. Police at bedside. Mixed through to caption still of St George's Hospital with lighted windows. Int St George's Hospital. Night. Ah, I get it. Exterior is ext and int is interior. Right. The mummity's on the program now. Outside the ward, notice on door saying Sebastopol Ward. Inspector Corner of Scotland Yard and his assistant, Sergeant Bowles, are talking to a nursing sister, young, prim and proper, somewhere behind them. A sign on the wall, maternity ward, deliveries daily? Inspector Corner. Good evening, I'm Corner of the Yard. Nurse. You're the what? Bowles. He is Inspector Corner of Scotland Yard, and I am Sergeant Bowles. Corner. How do you do? Bowles. How do you do, sir? Corner. I have to interview Mr. Butler, the butler. Nurse. Of course. You can come in now, Inspector, but you must be quiet. Corner. Pardon? Nurse. Shouting. You must be quiet! A patient in a wheelchair flies past. We hear a crash. Nurse. How long will you be? They walk through the double doors into the small ward. As they do so, Sergeant Bowles' appearance changes completely. In fact, it is another actor, but he still wears the big red beard we associate with the character. Corner. Just a little while. Nurse. Very well, but not a minute longer. They leave the shot. We stay on a sign which says, brain surgery while you wait. They walk to the bed which contains the butler. Butler. Oh dear, etc. Corner. Good evening, sir. I am Corner of Scotland. Bowles. Yard. Corner. Yes, Bowles. And I'm Sergeant Bowles. Corner. Matter of fact. I know that. We're hoping you might help us with our inquiries. Nurse. That's all for tonight, Inspector. Corner. Very well. We'll come back tomorrow. They all turn and walk away towards the doors. A superb caption appears. Superb caption appears. The following night, whereupon they all turn and walk back to the bed in the same shot. I get it. Superimposed caption. Honestly. Write proper English. Spike. You're going to get annoyed to Mama T and you might be dead, but she'll come and get ya. He says back, not if I see you first, lovey. All right, on we go. Nurse. Not too long, Inspector. He's still very weak. Inspector. I realise I am pressing you, nurse, but it must be obvious to you that I have a very little alternative. He is standing behind her. Nurse. I didn't even notice. She moves away slightly. Inspector to butler. Now, did you see the man's face? Butler. No, it was very dark. Inspector. A dark face, I see. Butler. But it wasn't his face. Inspector. Well, whose face was it? Butler. It was the noise. Oh, he sobs. Inspector. Noise? Could you give us a rough idea of this noise? Butler. Oh, I'm not. Oh, the disgrace. It was so... Oh. Inspector. You must try. It may be the breakthrough we've been looking for. Butler. Oh, very well. Nurse, the screens. The nurse puts screens around the bed. Stay on the nurse as she listens to the conversation. We can only see the outside of the screens, with the nurse in foreground. Inspector. OOV, which I presume means out of view. Now, sir, think hard. What was this noise? Butler. It sounded like he went. Inspector. Yes. He went what? Butler. He went A pathetic attempt at a raspberry. Oh, my wife! Oh, the disgrace! A cut to inside the screens. Bowles, taking notes. I didn't quite get that, sir. Inspector. He said the man went... Bowles. How do you spell it, sir? Inspector. Never mind the spelling. Just put raspberry. Bowles. Oh, very good, sir. He blows a slow raspberry as he writes in the book. Nurse. Oh, she has been growing more uncomfortable at each raspberry and is finally in terror. She runs to the window and throws it open. A flash of lightning across her face, a clap of thunder, and over this a great raspberry and the sound of maniacal laughter, crash and music. Interior, hansom cab night. Mama's on the program. Spike Milligan yells out, thank God for that. The inspector and Bowles, sitting in the cab, through the window at the back, overlay of old black and white, London street scenes. Look, if you're going to annoy me, go and put a word in with Australia Post, the bastards. Anyway, they're not really bastards, they're just, one can only assume, extraordinarily busy. Changing later to shots of aeroplanes or monkeys at the zoo, etc. Bowles. But what is the point of such an attack, apart from the shock? It's pointless. He must be a madman. Inspector. I could have gone to Capella Bar 20 times in the time I've waited for these people to bring my certificate by registered post. Anyway. You know, it's a breakdown of Western civilization where absolutely nothing works, including the postman. What can I say? Bowles. You think he's blown himself out? Inspector. Did we skip a bit there? No, we didn't. Inspector. Possibly. Somehow I don't think we'll hear any more from this attacker. A pause. We seem to be taking a devil of a time to get to the embankment. I didn't realise the road was so long. Bowles. It has to be, sir. Otherwise, it wouldn't reach. Inspector. Yes, I see your point. Calling up to cab driver. I suppose we are on the right road, cabby. Cabby's mysterious voice. Out of view. Don't worry, sir. Just put yourself in my hands. I'll look after you. Inspector. Of course you will. The British cab driver is the salt of the earth. Cut to back view of cabby. It is the phantom silhouetted against a violent-looking night sky. Phantom. Thank you, sir. He blows a small raspberry on the... The thunder crashes. Inspector and Bowles look at each other, slightly mystified. Dramatic voice over. Inside that dim, handsome cab. The dim, handsome voice. Sorry. The dim, handsome face of Inspector Corner of the Yard looked dim and handsome in the dim light of the hansom cab dim light. Was the wind of change about to blow through the land? Had he trodden in more than he could chew? Little did he realize the world was to hear more from the phantom raspberry blower of old London town. Music up to the finish. End of episode 1. Right, let's see how many more we've got. Whether I continue to completion or whether I quit while I'm ahead. Right, I'll be back tomorrow, people of Earth, with is it part 3 or part 4? I've lost count already. Hope you enjoyed that. I've got something out of it, and it's a bit whimsical and a bit of fun for the afternoon. Breaks up my day while I have my generic little breakdowns. And what can I say? Life goes on. It's all quite wonderful and marvellous. I'm glad I glued that baby chopper together. I'm going to try to replicate both of them. And maybe at the same time, since it's so tiny, I could try and make a sprue off that tooth. The big tooth, I mean. Got to think outside the square sometimes when you're teaching yourself silversmithing. All right, blessed be from sacred space at Titania's realm. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening. It's Friday evening, so Shabbat Shalom to those of you of the Jewish persuasion, and happy weekend, Friday weekend, to everyone else. Bye for now.